My name is Lincoln Bramwell, and I'm the Chief Historian of the U.S. Forest Service, based here in Washington, D.C. All through school, during the summers, I needed a summer job, and I would go off and work for the Forest Service. And I wanted to get into firefighting, and so I would go during the summers, drop the books, put on a backpack, and run around the woods with a chainsaw and fight fires and go off on these adventures. And coming back to school in the fall, I was really ready to go back to sitting behind a desk in a clean room and read books again and not get beat up by the labor I was doing. And started thinking about, I didn't know anything about environmental history. I just knew that I really liked what the Forest Service did and what I was doing. I thought forest conservation was cool. And as I went back to school, I started understanding or picking up on what is this field of environmental history and how can I learn more about it. And suddenly sort of my two interests, my summer job and my academic interests, started to meld together. What I do is to help make sense, because I get the question a lot, what do you do? And I kind of explain it like being a department chair, trying to explain to leaders and showing, hey, there is a value to this. There is a value to history, because when I'm dealing with natural resource managers, a lot of times it's not intuitive for them to think about, how can this historian help me? And for them, it's interesting. Part of what I do is not just do that work, but also explain to the agency, hey, this is how history is valuable. It has a direct impact on what we do, and that's really exciting as a public historian to get to have. It's not often as a historian that you get to have a direct impact by what you're writing or researching into some sort of decision being made. What I do in a typical day is, unlike when I was in academia, there is no set typical day. And that's what I find really attractive in working in public history, is there is a myriad of activities and that I perform and duties that I perform, and each day I get to perform some of those. On a given day, I may be answering calls from my agency leadership to provide them with context to some decision making that they're involved with. It may be answering a call to Capitol Hill to support some kind of testimony or information request from Congress, to getting a call from a member of the public. I do a lot of networking internally within my agency just to get people to understand and just know that I'm there to start with, and then B, how I can help them and get products that I've produced in front of them so they can get their own wheels sort of turning. Most of the success that I've had in doing projects or sponsored projects have come through just those interactions and being sort of extroverted, which sometimes that's not exactly taught sometimes in graduate school, that you need to be extroverted, you need to be putting yourself out there. If I could give advice to graduate students or folks that are thinking about public history, the first thing I would say is that it can be richly rewarding. The second caveat is that I would say it might lead you in a different path that's not as predictable as academic history. It's more of a business model where you are constantly connecting and trying to work on things that it's unpredictable at times. And so kind of knowing that up front, if that's something that appeals to you, that's great. If it really doesn't appeal to you, just kind of put that out there. But the biggest advice I would say is that if you're interested in anything, if you're interested in any aspect of history that you think about doing something outside of academia with, get involved with that activity or organization or subfield or whatever it may be. Just get involved. I just got involved with the Forest Service because I thought it was fun. I didn't have a master plan of I was going to do this and it was going to lead to a big job. I was just doing something that I liked to do that helped pay for school, because I always wanted to be a historian. And I just started finding out that I liked to do other things as well too.